viewers, welcome to the Hut on Morganston. My name is Cheryl Castleman, and today we're going to be making vegan soap, vegan hand soap. Your skin is essentially one of your biggest organs, and it absorbs everything, and you want to know what you're putting on your skin. Homemade hand soap is natural, it's gentle for you, you can feel good about sharing it with your family and your friends and your kids and your grandkids. I've got lavender today is my choice of essential oil because I love lavender. It's my absolute favorite. Borrowed a soap cutter. Hi Diane, I promise I will give it back to you. Yeah, I love how it makes that crinkle cut. I'm going to put my crock pot on high. Zero out my scale with my measuring bowl on top. We've got 480 sunflower oil. I'm just going to pour that in. I'm going to measure out coconut oil. 480 grams of coconut oil in the crock pot. And this is shea butter, and the recipe calls for 640 grams of shea butter. 640 grams of shea butter, and we're going to put that, heat it up to between 120 and 140 degrees. Next step in making your own homemade soap is using lye. Lye is an alkaline. It is corrosive, so you don't want to get it on your skin, you don't want to get it in your eyes, you don't want to breathe it in, any of the vapors. Measure out the lye and you put your water in the pot, and then you pour your lye into the water. We're going to safety up. Long sleeve. We're going to wear safety glasses just because I would rather be safe, and I would rather you were safe. So we're going to put on our safety glasses, and we're going to get something that neutralizes the lye. Just plain white pure vinegar. If you do splash some lye water on you, or you get some lye water on you, just pour some vinegar on it and it will neutralize the sodium hydroxide. It will neutralize the lye. Okay? The recipe calls for 223 grams of lye crystals. I just buy regular lye crystals, sodium hydroxide crystals. You wear rubber gloves too. Just to err on the side of caution. So I have the lye crystals weighed out and poured into this jar, and I'm going to set it aside. The recipe calls for 608 grams water. 610. Okay, now I've gone over a little bit. Take a couple drops out. 609. Still 607. One more tiny drop. 608. Yay! 608 grams of water. We have our 223 grams of lye. And I'm going to take this outside into a well-ventilated area. And I'm going to pour the lye into the water. You pour the lye into the water, it gets hotter. Okay, so don't pour water into lye. That's a no-no. So I am out on the deck at my house. I got my safety goggles on. Just a second. Okay, I'm out on the deck. I got my safety goggles on. I got my rubber gloves on. I'm going to pour the lye in there. And I'm going to stir it up a bit. So you make sure you don't breathe that in. I want it to be between 120 and 140. The same as the fats in the crock pot. 120 and 140 degrees before I combine the two. You can see it steaming now. So while I'm waiting, I'm going to measure out my essential oil fragrance. And I've got French lavender. So I like a nice strong smell, So I'm going to measure out 60 grams. And we're not going to add the essential oil until after we have blended the lye water with the fats. I got my goggles on, I got my safety equipment on. I'm looking at my lye water. It's between 120 and 140. Oils, and they're between 120 and 140. So now we're ready to mix the two together. I feel like I'm going deep sea diving. I've got my blender ready, and I've got my molds ready. Let's see if I can move this all closer so you can see. So here is our lye water. Being careful not to breathe it in, not to get too close, not to splash any on myself. I'm going to pour that in there. Now, lye has a tendency to stay at the bottom, so you want to make sure that when you put your blender in, you put it all the way to the bottom. I'm going to start blending on high. And I've got my vinegar water close by in case any of it accidentally gets on my skin and I need to wash it off with vinegar. I can see that it's starting to get a little bit thicker before the water is too hot.
I don't want to have a single regret. When the big hand reads, there's no time left. So kiss me now, right on my lips, so I can feel heaven here on earth. I believe in angels. When you come around, it's hard to believe it, baby, but my feet don't touch the ground.
So after you have poured your molds, your soap molds, I leave it in a spot where, you know, nobody's gonna bug it. Okay, so it's 24 hours later. The soap has been cooling, so we're gonna see what it looks like. I put wax paper over top of it so it doesn't get any on the towel. And it looks really nice. I'm gonna give you a close-up shot. So it turned out really nice. It's hardened up really nice. And we're gonna now put it on the cutting board. And if you used a bread pan with wax paper, they come out really good too. So I kind of loosen the edges off first. Flip it upside down. I hold my fingers on either corner. Okay, here we go. There. Looks so pretty. So then you get a measuring tape, and this is 10 inches. And with the measuring tape, it's now 5 inches, so we want to find 2.5. There, so I just made shadow cuts so that I can make my final cut. And straight down with your crinkle cutter. And then in half again, following my shadow cut. And then I don't measure these last two, I just kind of eyeball them, but you can measure if you want to be precise. So there. And then what I do if I'm going to dress it up to give it away as a gift to someone, I just get some kind of twine or some kind of string like this. Another thing I should mention, they should cure. for 4 weeks. I like them to cure, not because of the lye, it's nothing to do with that, because once you've mixed the lye and your fats at a certain temperature, the lye is no longer corrosive. So it's not because of the lye that I want to cure them. I like to cure them so that they will be nice and hard. So when you first use them, you don't want to use a mushy soap, or a soft soap, because you'll go through it too fast. So that's why I recommend curing them for about 4 weeks. But just put them somewhere, forget about them for a while. And they smell amazing. I used lavender today because it is my favorite. What's your favorite scent? Leave me a comment and let me know. Also, I'm new to soap making, so if you have any tips or tricks for me, I'd love to hear from you. Just leave them in the comments below. If you liked my video, if it was useful, if it helped you in any way, share it with your friends. Hit the like button, subscribe, hit the little bell. I don't know, something like that. Thank you for watching.